Unmute.
Okay.
Hi, welcome.
I was going to say, I can't hear you.
We are here and we are not muted. Pop Therapy True Crime Files, where pop culture, intuition, and true crime collide. My name is Miriam, and I am a psychic medium.
And we decode the drama with depth. And my name is Denise, and I am also a psychic medium.
Tonight, following this live stream, please join us exclusively on Patreon. Tonight is a really interesting post show. Yeah. Not only are we talking about the latest on Princess Diana, which is a trip that they've got like voicemails of her that have never been heard, but a Patreon community member, she had this experience with Queen Elizabeth, and somehow it may have aligned with us discussing Queen Elizabeth as being a reptilian. So I'm really excited to dig into that tonight. And then we're going to, of course, talk about what we're watching on TV, because I love TV, and we're going to talk about our self-care. And then Thursday night, as you know, is the Psychic Tea. And I saw some questions coming in earlier through my email. Thank you, you guys. 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Patreon. Denise and I tap into the energy behind your burning questions, celebrity drama, pop culture, true crime, everything that you are interested in, even if it's something closer to home and you have a personal question, you are absolutely welcome to submit that question. Patreon peeps only. If you'd like to join our Patreon, you can scan the QR code. We'd love to have you. There's a 7-day free trial. There is a lot that goes on over there. It's a lot of fun. I feel like we're always live because we kind of are. So if you like lives and you like discussions, that's the place to be. So we are adding even more to our Patreon family, the Cosmic Circle, which Denise and I are very excited about. This is something that is very close to both of our hearts. It's what the work we love to do. The Cosmic Circle is every Sunday morning. It is your weekly reset. It's a gentle space to breathe, realign, make sense of all the chaos around us, which, man, there is so much, and supporting each other is really, really key during these times. So I'll give you a little taste of what that looks like. When we ask ourselves to be conscious enough to show up for ourselves, to change the words we use in that moment, that means we have to be more present than not. Everything is going to trickle back down to how often you're balancing the body, how healthy the body is, where the emotional body is at. Because the more present you are, the more conscious you can be about showing up for yourself and changing the words in the moment.
Our words have vibration. And if we continuously have those conversations with ourselves, then we shift our vibration down instead of moving it upward. And we're going to have days like that. None of us are perfect. However, it's really, where are we reflecting on what it is that we want, and where do we want to go, and how do we work on that for ourselves?
All right. That's every Sunday morning. We will be there helping you guys out through these bizarre times. Okay. Speaking of bizarre, we are segueing.
And
listen,
thing ever.
The craziest. I was the one that we did a read on a pseudo read on this on Patreon, sort of. Denise brought it to one of the Patreon lives and was like, "This is happening. We need to look at it." And we did a quick look at it. But before when we were planning for today's show, I said to Denise, "Is anything going on with this case?" And she sent me all the stuff, and I was like, "You know what? We have got to." This is not on Denise. This is completely on me because I asked. After today, we're not talking about this case anymore because this girl is enjoying this way too much, and it is just not fair to the victims. It's so creepy and so odd how detached this girl is from anything. It's unreal. So the latest that Denise gathered, because Denise is getting really good at this true crime. She's getting really good. So in the documentary that everyone's seen called The Crash, I haven't seen it. I don't think, have you seen it yet? No.
I actually have not, because I've chosen not to until we've put this to rest, if you will. Yeah. Yeah.
So Mackenzie's mom is disputing claims that Mackenzie intentionally crashed the vehicle. She's arguing instead that Mackenzie may have suffered a medical emergency, which we've all decided that's not a thing. And noting she wore her seatbelt, which she claims she never did. So this prison phone call thing between Mackenzie and her mom has drawn intense scrutiny and public backlash. Obviously, recorded audio revealed the two speaking in coded language resembling Pig Latin. Oh my God.
I know.
To avoid eavesdropping, laughing about media attention and Mackenzie's appearance in court, and discussing Mackenzie's desire to become a life coach behind bars. Oh my. Natalie's continuous public defense of her daughter has been heavily criticized by the victims' families. Dominic Russo's sister publicly accused Natalie of not showing remorse and creating a monster. I mean, it's very hard to disagree with that. So, whoa, Denise, you have an opinion on this?
Okay, so the when they talked about Pig Latin, the family calls it Carney language, and that be better just put that in there. And so apparently somebody named Sloan Bella, according to Be Better, is that Danae?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. So Danae is in here saying that she's a Romani gypsy, and that her whole family is. And I'm not sorry, but it's like they find this comical. Like, it's the weirdest thing to me that I feel like they think this is all like a joke. And that it's not that serious. And somehow or another, like, I'm not saying the family was in on the plot, if you will, but it's just like nobody's taking this seriously. And then there's been, the ridiculous things, because I almost lost my marbles yesterday when I was researching this. I was like, her father's a complete idiot. Like, the things that he has said, I was like, are you for real? Like, for real? Because I'm like, sir, people passed away because of actions of your daughter. That's not okay.
Yeah, I remember when we first read it, and I was feeling Dad, and Dad had some semblance of reality before marrying this woman. I'm not saying that he was totally grounded, but he had some semblance, more so than they did. And that changed when he married her, and she took him down some weird path of delusion, denial, and he's hook, line, and sinker. And so he's jumping on this bandwagon of pretending like we don't see what we think we see or saw or know, and that they can somehow change the way we are perceiving what's happening. And this is what's feeding and fueling Mackenzie, because now she's always had her mom's backup. Mom's always backed her up, even when she was showing signs as a young child that she wasn't fully mentally stable. Mom didn't do anything, and this is where, when I was reading the first time, I said dad was allowing the behavior. Dad was like allowing mom to say it's fine, it's fine, it's normal, it's fine. And there was just, at that time, there was still an inkling in him of something may not be right, but chose to ignore all of that and go down a different road. And so Mackenzie's had the backup of mom, hook, line, and sinker. And so you've got two people. And on top of that, you've got a child who is already unstable mentally, but then is spoiled to this degree of like, she's fine, she can do it, like she, whatever. It's in this, it feels like the spoiling was also coming from a way of quieting her as a child. Like she would be causing so much disruption, screaming fits, because she was not mentally well. And so to quiet her, it was, what do you want? Take it, anything. Whereas a child who is, and I obviously will step down from this in a moment because I don't have children, and pass it off to you, Denise, but I know a child who is mentally stable, when they have fits, even if a mom gives in because they're frustrated and having a hard day every now and then, that it's not going to take the child over the edge. This, though, the combination of the two and the consistency of, instead of getting her help, they would give her what would shut her up.
Right.
And here we have now this horrifying moment that she's detached. Like, I feel like if we had a doctor in the house, there is a part of the brain that is detached from, maybe I'm not saying that literally. There is something in the brain that is detached, and it's supposed to be in place. And so it's causing this complete disassociation that I don't feel can be ever corrected unless it's with heavy doses of medication.
It's almost like her behavior is more bipolar now than, well, I don't know if she was a bipolar child. However, I think with her drug use, like in order to self-medicate as she got older, I think that has caused a shift in her brain
Chemistry.
space. Chemistry. Thank you for that word, because menopause and words sometimes are challenging. And so I think there has been a disconnect there. I still don't think, I'm still just perplexed at the inability to really have any remorse or any accountability to accept responsibility.
Yeah, I don't think she has.
Or
She's
her parents,
capable
for that
of
matter.
it.
Right. And her parents, for that matter, because like one of the reasons that her father was put on administrative leave was because of his comments around and her marijuana use. And he works for a private Catholic school. And then he kind of goes on in a next breath to call the Catholic Church out for being not so godlike. And I was just like, where are you coming from here, sir? Because you are in a private institution and they get to kind of govern. When you work for, a private school of faith, you're going to have to abide by the church's faith. That's just your part of your agreement there, right? And I was like, and how are you now calling out the church for not being godlike when they're actually standing by what they believe is their morals of moral conduct of their teachers, which would not include marijuana use.
Absolutely. It was great exposing the family and friends and lack of remorse. Oh, okay, good. So you saw it. That's yeah, that's helpful. I mean, I don't think anyone believes her. I think what's happening is, I think what's happening is, though those of us in the true crime world, look at true crime cases that are unusual. I think what's making this one difficult and different, and why in the beginning I said we're done after this, is because of everything Denise just said, I said, because she is really um being encouraged to profit from it, and everyone is looking at her and not looking at the victims. And this is where social media and society has to say, as a group, we need to stop discussing her, as we will be doing. We will stop discussing her. And if everyone just stops discussing it, if nobody is talking about it, then she's lost. And right now she feels like she's winning, and that's what's deeply disturbing. You had asked earlier if I felt Dad had. I didn't necessarily get, which doesn't mean anything. I didn't personally get anything with Dad and anything inappropriate. I felt like I said, I felt like Dad lived a pretty quote unquote normal life. I think Dad's in an abusive relationship. He's very responsible, but he's being controlled, he's being manipulated, and is just as responsible as everyone else. He just, to me, energetically feels like he has this much sanity left, and he's not utilizing it. He's not owning it. And so here we are.
And so if you want to highlight, yeah, he did. I heard that too. And I did a lot of research on this one and came across a lot of things. And then further down, Danae has a comment in reference to Gypsy Rose. And I didn't have time to dig into it. So Danae, if you have a chance to look at it, and then we will be done with this for real, for real. Gypsy Rose commented on Mackenzie's case, but I did not have time to dig into that when I saw that, because I was doing.
Don't kill me. Who's Gypsy Rose?
She's the one whose mother was, she had her mother killed by her friend for proxy by Munchausen. I think that's what it's called. So her mother kept saying she was ill and taking her to the doctor and, da, 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 da. And then eventually Gypsy was convinced a friend to unalive her mother. And she did serve time. And I believe she is now, there was a docuseries of her after she got out. Actually, lots of things done while she was incarcerated, and then several things that occurred after she got out. And she had was it on Lifetime? And then they played it on Hulu, but it followed her, that case.
Gypsy had boyfriend kill mom. Mom literally had every disease in Discord. It is Munchausen by proxy. Okay,
okay.
That is a trippy word.
Yeah. So at any rate, so I did start to watch that, but then I can't remember what happened to where that went off on the radar, but
So let's look at some of these questions while we're here. Did she pre-plan this, or was this pre-planned at the moment? Does she think this is almost comical? I don't, even though premeditated is something she does, I feel like she premeditated a scare and was laughing and premeditated to the point of, is there a road that I can just go down real fast that doesn't have too many lights? Oh, yeah. Okay. And then it was because of I don't know if it may have been a fight, but it was like control tactic on her end. It was solely a control tactic. And I just see her laughing more than I see her yelling. And to a certain degree, the intention was to scare, not unalive. but she also wasn't thinking, oh, I don't want, like, oh, I better be careful. Like, this could be too far. Like, she wasn't thinking either like that. Like, as someone who is of sound mind would be like, wouldn't a do that? But even if they were like emotionally unstable and a little abusive, they may scare someone, but have that sense of like step on the gas and then let go.
Right.
Just trying to explain how she doesn't even have that much.
Right.
So, in that respect, it feels like it was like a 50-50 sort of pre-planned and then sort of not premeditated and then sort of not.
Right.
Why does the family use this weird talk to communicate with each other? So this feels like it's something they started at a very young age, to be funny, and then started using it in public to, like, I could see them at school functions somehow using it to like kind of go around her, go like I feel like I can see mom going like this at a school function, like, no, just push past her, and using that language, and then it just started to become more and more effective and prevalent. um why is Mackenzie always misunderstood and the parents always shifting the blame and making her the victim? Did you correct? That's you did that, right, Denise? You were able to fix that
Mm-hmm.
slide because I couldn't tell.
Mm-hmm.
Side note, I couldn't tell if it was my old one or you fixed it. So good. I'm glad it's the correct one. I meant to ask you that. Okay. Why is Mackenzie always misunderstood and the parents always shifting the blame and making her? Oh, I feel like we covered that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think a lot of this has so much to do with, like, she was always just overindulged as a child, like you said, to like appease her and keep her quiet. And, you know, one of the things that I didn't realize is that, cars had black boxes in them, and that makes sense because everything is so computerized now. So it's not a surprise that, they have those in there. And that's where they came up with some of this information in regard to her, uh, you know, intentionally keeping her foot on the gas and those kinds of things. So this really wasn't all just made up. And then from the first responders, like several of them, you can hear them because a lot of them have body cams anymore. And, they were saying that this was the most horrific accident they ever saw. And then the thing that really, I was having this conversation with a friend today at lunch, and I said, the thing that is so bizarre not bizarre, but I really kind of want to dive into this from a spiritual perspective. Okay. The boys unfortunately did not make it. How is it in that circumstance with that much of an impact? She was the driver. The car caught on fire. Like it was like, how is she still alive? Like, what is her karma that she lived through that? And now she's almost making a mockery of it, so to speak.
So I am seeing her. For some reason, I'm seeing her out of prison, but a part of me also feels like I don't know how that's possible. And when I see her out, she is, she was anticipating a different sort of greeting by the community and doesn't get it. And this is when it starts to unravel for her and the darkness will take over. And so me seeing her walking out of prison is either, what do you call it?
Paroled.
Sorry, what was the word?
Paroled.
Symbolism. Sorry. Symbolism where because I can feel right now where it's at. I feel like she'll be in jail for life, like in prison for life. That's just full stop. But I also feel like there's going to be, maybe it's 10 years from now. I'm just saying, because I don't know how the system works, but something like, good behavior or something. And she's out. And because she's either going to get out, or she's not going to get it. She's going to go to prison for this, or this is symbolism and she passes, and I'm seeing her passing. And that's when the darkness starts to take over her. I think in situations like these, it's very hard to discuss that someone, I know Denise, you and I talk about this a lot, how we make contracts before we come into body. And for me, I don't talk about that a lot because I haven't fully witnessed it myself. And so I always, when I read, so I'm always hesitant because I don't want to just say something that it may not be accurate for me in that moment with that one person that I'm reading. I'm not saying it's not true at all. I think because it's hard to, when you have two victims like these young men, to say they made a contract with her and this is what was decided and determined is a little flippant. And
no, I agree.
And any true crime case, but so I have to say, maybe there's someone that can feel deeper than me in this moment, but my sadness for those families just is overriding kind of understanding what that karmic thing is for them as a trio. For her,
I was going to say, I was more curious about hers, not theirs, because I just can't even imagine.
I feel like for her, the soul has gone through multiple carnations at very, very, very low levels, and has been unable to sort of elevate. And so every time she incarnates, it's like she's stuck in the loop of destruction. She reminds me of a spirit when I'm on TikTok doing Behind the Hauntings, and I'm reading a haunted location, and there's a spirit that's quote unquote stuck, and they're stuck in the loop of the suffering. She reminds me of that, but in body, where she cannot unstick herself, and she continues to wreak havoc on herself. And that feels to me like, to answer that question, that's where I feel she is as evolution, as from a position of evolution. She's just stuck in this loop of lowest vibration, but she's also this is weird, but she's also in coordination with entities that are very low vibration. And I've read many people who have deep states of mental illness. And so it's not uncommon that they are engaging with darker vibration beings. And so to make that disconnect can be very challenging for someone like her. Let me go back for a sec. When I work with people who have mental illness and struggle with schizophrenia or something like that, and deal with lower vibration beings, they will have a lot of people around them trying to help them. And so it keeps them sort of here, instead of, for her, because she doesn't have people around her trying to stop her. Like normally you have people trying to pull them back and get them help. You don't have that with her. So she's being propelled into this darkness and being encouraged to enable these darker beings. And so she's got this force field, in a sense, I say that lightly, around her of like, oh, I'm a little untouchable. That's strange.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Kim was saying she actually lives in Cleveland, Ohio, and that the news has reported that she's already had 35 write-ups and for different offenses and why. And she's saying she may not even be able to get out for good behavior. But I also did hear something, or that apparently she technically can't make money herself while she's in prison. However, that doesn't mean her mother and father can't profit from her story.
Ah,
so that might be the
interesting.
The caveat around her making money. And if you recall our previous show that we talked about her, the parents had just recently filed bankruptcy.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You said that, but it was before this happened, right?
Before the accident happened, but this could be their, oh, this is how we can make money. We can get a book deal. We can get our, da 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 da. That's kind of, so that wouldn't come as a surprise for me. And
Yep. Interesting. Okay, you guys. So Denise, you said you had one more follow-up you wanted someone to do, and then after that, we'll shut the door on this and we will no longer be giving this girl any more.
Yeah, that was just to see what Gypsy Rose had to say in regards to this, because like I said, that being that she was in jail for not something similar, but something similar, if you will.
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting that she had a commentary on it, and I just did not have the time to do the research. So
that's fair.
I'm curious now.
Inquiring minds want to know, as they say.
I was never like, true crime was never my thing, but now I'm like, oh, okay, well, what's going on here?
You're really good at it now. All right, you guys. Good. Now, we've got something interesting going on. We're going to check in with Denise's dish and see what's on her intuitive radar for today. I think you guys will like this.
Today's topic is perimenopause and menopause. And why is it making a big resurgence? Well, we have actresses out there that are talking about it. Halle Berry, Amy Schumer. It helps us to understand all of the weird things that happen during perimenopause that we didn't even know were part of it. Frozen shoulder, itchy ears, people chewing and it's annoying as all get out. It's all of these different weird things that we had no idea was a part of perimenopause. Perimenopause can start as early as your mid-30s and can last all the way up until your 50s. So what menopause actually is one day, and that is when you get to day 366 without having your period. Prior to that, everything else is perimenopause. Now that we have women doctors out there advocating for us, looking for hormone replacement therapy. And I am not a doctor, and I realize this is a personal choice, but I encourage all of my clients and anybody who I ever talk to, including my daughter, get your hormone tested. Find a baseline. What does that mean? What is normal? Where are you on this scale? We have to start advocating for ourselves and our health and our well-being. And I want to challenge you to start taking control of yourself and your self-care. That's Denise's dish.
We are going to tie in some good stuff tonight. Selling Sunset. Do you guys watch that? We're going to talk about Mary. Is it Mary Bonnet or Bonnet?
Yes.
Mary Bonnet?
I'm not.
Let's go for Bonnet.
Yeah.
She's 45 years old. Age is irrelevant during this story. In season 9, Nicole Young, who is 41, age is relevant, made a comment about Scary Mary. And it got Denise thinking, is Mary really scary? Or is she in the throes of perimenopause and is no longer available for the BS of reality TV and the drama? I find this fascinating. Since season 9 wrapped up, Mary has talked openly about taking care of her mental health. That includes no longer drinking, stepping away from season 10. So let's talk about that and what you guys feel. And Denise, please, let's hear what you got.
So they have been on the show for a long time, and there's a lot of controversy. Personally, I don't think Nicole's a very nice person. I think she has moments that she can be kind, but she usually has some motivation. I think Mary is genuinely a nice person. But I think with all of the stress and the drama of the show and being 45 years old and, her husband's younger, they were expecting a baby. She had a miscarriage. So I think there's just a lot of things that have occurred.
Mhm.
And so I feel like with that, one of the things that we don't realize as we go through perimenopause is that we have a lot lower tolerance for people's BS.
Mhm.
And whether that's good or bad, I'm not really sure, but we really do have a lot less tolerance because we've all, especially when you get into that middle stage of life, but you probably also have aging parents. So you could be stuck in the middle of taking care of both, or you could be helping to start care for a parent. I know, my mother passed away when I was 35,
God, that's young.
and my youngest child was 10. And so I still had really young kids at home. So I was in the process of taking care of my children, flying to California to help care for my mom. And then realized that I was going through perimenopause. So then I'm like, and I just thought I was crazy.
And you weren't, but you didn't know that was a time where we weren't talking about it like we talk about it now. Which one is which? Again, Mary is in the cutout dress. And then, okay.
Yeah. And then Nicole is the blonde with the bob.
Got it.
Oh my
Got
gosh.
it.
I'm sorry.
No, it's
These
okay.
girls are really sassy today.
Go ahead. Finish your thought. Was there more you wanted to add to that?
Okay. So I was just more curious as to, because, I know for myself that when I was going through this, I was having so much anxiety, but not one of my doctors ever said, hey, maybe this is perimenopause, not just this or that or the other thing. And then some of the solution was medication for anxiety. And then the other solution was surgery. And then when I was 57, after doing a bunch of research and listening to a lot of different things and trying to figure things out, I asked my primary care doctor if she would, if I could have my hormones tested. And she looked at me like I sprung 3 heads and a dragon on my shoulder. And I was like, she's like, well, are you going to take them? And I said, I don't know. But all I knew is I have been slowly feeling terrible for so long that I was like, I don't know what to do anymore.
Right. That is such a hard position to be in, but so many women are in it now. And thanks to TikTok, honestly, for all of us, we have a lot more information at our fingertips. I think that when we start to look at let's go before our menopause. When we have our periods, it's when we are most intuitive, but we tend to write that off as emotional, right? Oh, it's just my period, I'm being emotional. And that's not true. When you have your period, it is much more difficult to repress your true emotions and true experiences. And so when we bleed, we are more intuitive, we are emotional because we are feeling our truth, but we have been brought up to discredit all of that. So when we look at a show like this, that, the whole, as we all know, it's all about the drama. And so they want the drama. I think that it says a lot to this one woman for stepping away from the show, being able to unwind out of that control that she was under between the network, between the other women, between her lifestyle, and say, I need to fix this. And I think that says something to how bad menopause can be. That it's no different for some people, for some women, as if you are dealing with a disease. So being able to acknowledge it is really important. I feel like Mary's talked about taking care of her mental health. That includes I feel like you said Mary had a miscarriage. Yeah. I mean, a miscarriage when you're not perimenopause, combine a miscarriage. I mean, forget it. Like I would think her doctor or someone probably said, you have to take you have to stop. Like, this is not
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
I feel like she is a little broken now, and this is good
Hmm.
because she can rebuild in a healthier
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And in some ways, what she experienced may have been ideal for her, because had she not miscarried, she may not have acknowledged what was already going on within her, and that the lifestyle she was contributing in was making it all worse.
Right.
So I feel like she's going to come out the other side okay, but I do feel like she's being very honest with that decision, with that choice. And even though she can play a bitch on TV, I don't feel like that's what's really going on underneath.
Right. And, I always just want to encourage everyone to advocate for themselves, because I also have boys, and I've even told my boys to go get their testosterone levels tested, because the it's because, well, this is normal and you're in the normal range. But if you don't know where you started, you don't know what's normal for you. And
Right.
I'm not advocating that everybody has to do HRT. You have to do what you are comfortable with and
Mhm.
where you feel that it's going to be best for you. Because if you really have to understand your own body, and that's why, like, I really start to pay attention to the moon later on. It's
Mhm.
not just so much to track my cycle, but it was to understand what's going on with my energy and why do I feel
Mhm.
this way. Because, like, we talked about in the cosmic circle, if you don't have that physical manifestation any longer, where are you at with this, right?
Right.
And it's
Right.
really trying to understand that. And, because I don't think women should be dismissed. And because I asked a question at an age that might have been a little bit older, I should
Mhm.
not have been dismissed. I should have been able to have that conversation.
That makes so much sense. So we've got Daisy's mom struggling with it too. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Denise, you made a good point in your video where you're like, menopause is just that one day, but that hormone imbalance goes on forever. Like,
Yes, it does.
my mom's in her sorry, mom. She's like, not lately, but she's in her 70s.
She's like,
And
calm down, daughter.
I'm right. But not only has she said every now and then she'll still have like a whiff of a hot flash, but I've talked to a lot of women in their 70s that say they still experience hormonal shifts, you know? So, I mean, you guys, if I know this sounds crazy, but we don't ever stop to think that we are carrying life. Like, when that time is concluded, it's not just going to be like a hop, skip, and a jump. Like,
Right.
it makes sense that it could be. I mean, think about it. You spend your entire up until menopause, you're spending all of that time, the body, in a sense, I'm not a doctor, clearly, prepping for childbearing, right?
Hmm.
Whether you choose to or not. I don't have kids, so it's no judgment. Um, and then you spend the second half of your life closing those doors. And so it's going to take it's what Denise said. You got to just fight for yourself and advocate for yourself. Full stop. Right. So I never learned about it. Perimenopause definitely changed my tolerance to the BS.
And yeah, and I can agree with you on that, because I didn't learn about it because I didn't have anybody to ask any questions, and
Mhm.
and I don't know if my mom would have talked about it anyway, to be honest, because she was just that generation. If my mother was still alive, she'd
Mhm.
be 85 years old.
Mhm.
And so I don't know,
Yeah.
about that, but it was also questions that I didn't even have I didn't even know to ask,
You
because
don't know what to ask. Yeah.
and everybody always talks about hot flashes, but I didn't really have those.
Mm.
Not the way people talk about. So I didn't, and I live in the desert. So I mean, if you're sweating in your sleep at, in July, that seems kind of normal here. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, so there was just all of these different factors. And so, and a few things that I know when I've taught my courses and stuff, like I've had clients that said, they couldn't wait to get rid of their period. And then when it was already gone, they were like, they mourned the loss of it because they
Mm.
didn't understand the real true component of all of the
Mm.
processes of it. And
Interesting.
yes, you get to go into a different phase. And the other side of that is that we also have to remember that we live in a very different world than we did when they used to have, you know, the red tents, and that the older women would help nurture the younger women. And, you know, we've got artificial lights, we have tech now. So there's so many things. So we don't always literally cycle with the moon at the exact same time any longer. So that's kind of why it gets a little dicey there too, because like we just had our full moon on Sunday, yesterday, today's Monday. And so we had our full moon. So the external world is reflective, it's sparkly, it's like, look at me, I feel cute, you know, that sort of thing. However, if that's not the part of the cycle you're in, you're going to be like, what is wrong with the world?
Right.
Why is everybody so joyful? I'm like, I want a blanket, a snuggly, and a snack. You know,
oh, that sounds good.
So
right
that's, you know, and so it's like, that's where you start to understand, like when you don't have those physical manifestations, or they start to make sense.
Yes. Yes. That's so true. I'm so happy you brought this up and noticed it on the show. I think that's huge. I think I also love that because it ties into what we like to talk about here. We like to tie in real connections to how we can live a little bit better. It's not just celebrity gossip. So this was really great. Thank you, Denise, for bringing that forward.
You're welcome.
All right, so getting back to Gossip Town.
Now that
I cut you off. What did you say?
Oh, no, you're totally fine. I said, yeah, now that we were like, okay, try to rein in the crazy gossip. And now we're like, okay, now next gossip.
Totally. Well, it is called pop therapy. As you said to me the other day, I was like, I do like the way you're tying in the menopause. This is so important. And you're like, it is called pop therapy. So it is going to have to be a little poppy. All right. So here's the thing with Nancy Guthrie. This is what I feel like is happening. I feel like what we kept saying is finally coming to fruition. And I keep referencing, I didn't pull the clip because I think we already saw it and I don't want to keep boring you guys, but that one clip where we talked about AI, Savannah brought us TikTok AI, and TikTok AI was like, I think we're going to, you know, TikTok AI said June, we're going to get some answers, you know, there's going to be, or someone's going to be revealed or something like that. And we're getting, oh my God, my necklace is broken. We're getting so much closer to June. Is it June right now?
Today is June 1st.
That is really close to June.
Turns out it's really close.
Okay, this is what's happening. Reports indicate a suspect's name may soon be identified. Oh, God, I feel like they're sitting there with the person's name and they're like, okay, this week, tell them we're gonna blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you guys, and I feel like the whole world's already like, yeah, we know, you know. I feel like I've yet to come across a video where someone's like, I wonder who it could be. I feel like everyone's like, we know, you know, just tell us. Anyway, Savannah said she's spending heavily on private investigators, including former federal agents and security specialists, to keep the search active alongside law enforcement. A former detective speaking with Fox News Digital suggested the case doesn't fit the profile of a typical random attack. No, Sherlock, hinting investigators are leaning toward a more targeted motive. Yes, they should have come talk to us. All right.
100%, because we've been saying this from the beginning.
I feel like, I mean, you know what's so great about the times we're in right now, which talk about this a lot on Patreon, is that you can't pull the wool over people's eyes anymore. You know, not like, yeah. And it's not just social media, although that helps immensely. It's people waking up and are just like, something's not sitting right. They're following their gut. And they're like, something's not sitting right about this.
Well, it's the old adage, the math is not mathing, right? It's just not mathing. And it's just crazy to think that they think and I know other people, you know, other parts of the world are watching this as well, but to think that the human population is this stupid.
Right. You're ill prepared on the shame on you. You're
What,
prepared on
Denise?
literally every other case known to man, and this one you aren't. That's funny. We're teasing you. Great Hazel, catch me up. Was it employees, duo, or true? That I love the way she's just like, all right, just knock it out. Give me a couple quick texts and I'll get it.
Focus. Said boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
You go.
We have a couple shows that we did this. We did a couple things on. You probably can find it. Are they on Patreon or YouTube?
No,
or
they're
both?
here. They're all here.
Okay.
YouTube.
So, yeah, so they're all there. When we did the reads first, originally, we felt like that it had more to do with some underlying shenanigans.
The
rather
family knows. Yes.
The family knows. So what we kind of felt like was that there was some kind of like gambling debt, I don't even know if we really landed on a thing, but some type of bad behavior that was always paid off by Savannah, we felt like.
Mhm.
And then it was finally, she was like, I'm not doing this anymore. And I feel like that she took a hard stand and was like, I'm not doing this anymore. And I think somewhere along the line, there was this backdooring of, and I remember actually the back door was really a thing. I think we both felt like they took her out the back door, not the front door anyway. So that's a whole nother segue into, this whole thing. But we felt like whoever is responsible for this thought they were going to kind of pull a fast one and that they would just get this like ransom money. Because, and then it would all be taken care of. But the components that they forgot about were mom was on medication that she had to have for her heart, and she had to have these certain things. And I also think this went on significantly longer than they had anticipated. And then mom passed, and then they were like, oh shit, what do we do now?
Yes. And I feel like we were unsure. I think at one point we felt it was full on somehow related to the brother, but then we thought the dad, or her husband, maybe it could have been related to.
Yeah, because his job like is a fixer in the political world. So then we're like, well, maybe it had something to do with him. So it's kind of hard to really kind of pin it all down because we've done a few different updates. So I sometimes get my facts confused from reading and, because I still haven't really followed the case. I just grabbed a few things here and there. But I do feel that something is going to break here very soon. And it's going to be, hello.
How pissed off is your dog right now?
So mad.
Your dog is so mad. You locked her in the bedroom?
Well, it's her room.
It's her room.
Like
she's so mad right now at you. Oh
she's so mad. Their dog door's in there. Her beds are in there, like everything in there.
But you're not.
Yeah. Well, but she was out here with me, and the other two were being quiet, and now she's in there by herself. So I'll go get her.
So, okay. And then to sum up for Nancy Guthrie, we agreed with TikTok AI that something would be revealed in June, like who this person was. Like that felt right. Everything else it said didn't seem really aligned. Denise, when we did like our most recent read, we were like, we felt her being like, not escorted, but she wasn't like bound and like thrown over the shoulder and dragged out. We felt her being walked out, and it was very calm, scary, but calm. I think Denise had, and one of those was the one to point out she did not feel like that blood that they found was from that night. And I think they ended up confirming that's true. That blood was just from maybe from something before, like whatever it was. And then both of us, it doesn't really matter, but I felt like I think both of us had said, I was like in it trying to see it. And then you said they took her out the back door, because I kept saying, I can't even see them walking out with her. I think I was saying that. And you were like, they took her out the back door. So there's all this, which I think what I need to start doing is compiling it all so that when they start revealing the shock and awe, then we can go, oh yeah, well that's, pretty much what we had already said. Yeah. So, yep. So let's now go ahead.
She wasn't completely mad at me. Apparently there was a package delivered by the FedEx person, and so she just was mad about that.
She was doing her job.
Yeah.
She was doing her job. Okay, you guys, we're going to move on from the headlines to the
Gracie,
home
you're
front.
okay.
We're stepping into the spirit of the house, uncovering what the walls remember and what the energy reveals. It's the energy of the home, not the way the home looks.
A brand new, untouched 1970s time capsule mansion has just hit the market, and it is gorgeous.
This house may be beautiful, but the way it was designed and built lends itself to conflict, not an ease and flow. You definitely would want to sage this house first. This home feels like it was built from a place of frustration. It feels like there was a lot of conflict prior to building it, and while it was being built, there was a lot of struggle and issues. This house could be good for someone who really isn't sensitive to energy and is able to override that sensation. This is also a home good for someone who their job is conflict resolution. Although this home is beautiful, we may find that this home won't sell as quick as the sellers hope. There are many ways to add more of a calming, fluid energy to the home, planting a lot of flowers, adding in more windows where you can, removing some walls and opening it up to more of an open floor plan could help. Okay, we are making good time tonight. Claude Lemieux, is that how you say it? Lemieux?
Yeah, I think so.
With this case, this is so, first of all, it's so obviously very tragic, but something isn't sitting right with me about it. So the tragic passing of Claude Lemieux, four-time Stanley Cup winning NHL player, passed by taking his own life. He was 60 years old. His hockey career spanned more than 2 decades, was part of a family business, yet he made the ultimate decision to take his own life in a warehouse that his son found him in when he hadn't come home by 3 a.m. This was all in Lake Park, Florida. Is there it feels like something, this person was not depressed his whole life. He was not. And then something changed. And so I'm really questioning how this happened, why this happened. It doesn't feel like foul play. Or is anyone saying that, or we know for sure it wasn't foul play?
As of yesterday, when I did did more research yesterday, there was not foul play in place. It was just, he had just actually carried the flag out at a game. I think it was. I don't have my notes in front of me because I sent them to you.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I saw that. Go ahead.
So some of his teammates were saying that he was very sensitive, but he was a beast on the ice. Like he would, because hockey's known for fighting, right? So he's just going to get in there and get after it, and but at the same time, and he and his wife, and they have 4 kids, and it looks like they range from 29 to 37 years old. He did have a grandchild. So and from what I can tell, the business was successful. The furniture business was successful. So it's really hard to understand why somebody that would truly appear to have kind of a really, I'm not going to say charmed life, because everybody has difficulties.
Sure.
But at the same time, it's like, wow, was he really that sad about certain aspects of his career that at 60 he would decide that this was the solution?
No. Something doesn't feel totally right. Something is amiss. Yeah. I'm wondering if there was a oh my God, who is that? Tell me. What is her name?
This is Gracie.
Is that who's been making all the freaking noise?
Yeah.
Gracie, you can get away with it because you're so cute. But honestly, it's been a
annoying.
lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm going to kiss your face, Gracie. That's how I'm going to punish you. See, thank God I did not have kids. That's my form of punishment. I just pick them up and I kiss them.
Well,
Okay.
depending on if they're boys or girls, that might be punishment.
And if they like attention or not. Some don't.
Right.
My cat Larry hates it. Okay, so let's talk about Claude. You guys love to do research. Can you go out and find out there's something amiss about this case? What is it? Something isn't right. He loved his family. He loved his wife. I feel that. He was fine. He transitioned okay. Like, yeah, I mean, he's human. So he had emotions with his job and sure, but something is not.
I know something's not sitting right with me either, but he was, I don't know how I can say this, but he was unalived by, so there is a possibility that I suppose somebody could have done that to set it up to look like that.
Was there a note left?
Yeah, as of yesterday, no, but that doesn't mean something hasn't changed today. I didn't.
Let's keep an eye on this one. You guys find out anything, let us know. Something does not feel right. I think we're going to get some information at some point, assuming the family lets that information out. They may not. It's not.
I kind of felt the same way because when I came across, because I was born in Pennsylvania, hockey was a really big thing there, and all the kids in the neighborhood, we all used to play street hockey, and so I mean, it was a big thing for us. So I wouldn't know him because obviously we're approximately the same age, but I do remember hearing his name because he did play hockey here in Arizona for a few years, because we did have a hockey team. So I was very curious as to why somebody would do something like that. And the lack of information was very perplexing to me.
Yeah, something's amiss. All right, you guys, you got some work to do. We will revisit in 2 weeks when we come back for our next episode of Pop Therapy. In the meantime, don't leave just yet, because we want to leave you with some happy stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to be heading over to Patreon. You are welcome to join us on Patreon. We offer a 7-day free trial. You can just scan the QR code. We've got paranormal stuff. We've got spirituality. We got true crime. We've got everything over there. And, but in the meantime, you guys have a great night. We're going to leave you with something really nice and happy. And we'll see some of you guys in just a few minutes. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, blow it out. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, blow it out. Relaxing the shoulders, forehead. Feel the jaw release. Wiggle the fingers and the toes to make sure they're not clenched. Notice if the belly is soft, relaxed. And feel the belly as it moves with the breath. Feeling yourself rooted, grounded, as if Mother Earth is pulling you down into the center, holding you, protecting you, taking from you anything you no longer need. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, blow it out. That's your pop therapy for today.